Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Salesforce Certified Admin Certificate. I've recently obtained my admin certificate in July of 2022, and I wanted to go on to the Trailhead website, take a look at their suggested study material, what's on the exam, what score you need to get to pass the exam, and then kind of offer my input on it and how I studied to pass my admin certification as well. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I drop a new video every Friday, and like and comment if you found this information useful. So all the links for the websites I'm showing are going to be in the description of the video so you can check it out. So we're going to start out here on the Trailhead website. And this is just looking at all the certifications that are, that you can obtain through Salesforce. And I really like it how they have it broken out by role. So we have the admin. You could look at the architect role if you wanted to. A bunch of different options. There's a lot of Salesforce certificates out there. But we're going to be looking at the admin certificate today. And I kind of already have them pre-opened here to save a little time. So this is looking at the summer 2022 release. And this is the exam guide. So it kind of gives you some content about the exam. You can click on these, but we'll kind of scroll through here. It is a great beginner exam certification to take. I got my job without an admin certification, and it would definitely help someone if you're not in a Salesforce role right now and you're looking for a certification to prepare you for that. This is a great one to do it. It goes into the audience description, purpose of the exam, but here's some of the core information you're going to want to know. So it's 60 multiple choice questions, and there's 5 that are non-scored. So technically it's 65 and 5 are not scored. You get 105 minutes to take the exam. You need to score at least a 65 to pass the exam. Very key. It's $200 to register and $100 to retake it. You can take proctored exams, but I did mine online, and I would highly suggest it. You can do it at, kind of at your convenience. You don't have to schedule it too far in advance either. You can schedule it like a week ahead of time, and it's relatively straightforward to do. But it's no hard copies. It's online material, and you can't have any study material with you out when you're taking the exam. So you're going to want to make sure you know all the concepts before you get into taking the exam. So we have some recommended training and references. They have a great Trailmix, which I have opened up here. We'll look in a second, that you can take. I'd highly suggest this, especially if you have not worked in Salesforce at all. You're going to want to play in a sandbox. You're going to see how to set up a role, how to adjust roles, looking at permission sets. Just how to create users, accounts, stuff like that. You need to get in and get your hands dirty. Great way is with the Trailmix. I would highly suggest it. There are some practice tests out there. Super badges are awesome if you haven't done that on Trailhead. Super badges really, it's not just a walkthrough. It's kind of more of applicable to the real world. It's going to give you a scenario. You have to figure out that scenario. There is ways to, through Trailhead, if you get stuck on something, to get some help, but highly suggest that as well. So scrolling down here, we can look at the exam outline. So these are really key concepts. So 20% of the scoring is going to be configuration and setup. So you're going to want to know how to describe information found in the company settings, i.e. fiscal year, business hours, currency management, default sharing, or default settings. Distinguish and understand the administration of declarative configuration of the user interface. So app menu, list views, global actions. App Builder is very important. They list it here, but I can tell you that is very important. Given a scenario, demonstrate the proper setup and maintenance of users. And most of the questions it's going to be very scenario based. You're going to have multiple choice, but it's not just going to be, very straightforward. It's going to be very applicable in like this situation. What is the best way to do this user setup, or to set up these permission sets, or whatever. So that is important to know. Explain various organization security controls like audit trail, login hours, and given a user request scenario, apply the appropriate security controls, and determine the use of a custom profile or permission set. Those are very important. So 20% of this is going to be configuration and setup. And what's kind of crazy to think about is when you take this exam, you don't really know how many questions about configuration and setup there are going to be. It could be one that's worth 20%, or it could be 10 that's in total worth 20%. So you don't really know, each exam they do is different. So just keep that in mind. The other 20% is Object Manager and Lightning App Builder. So describe the standard object architecture and relationship model, standard parent-child, master detail, lookup, stuff like that. Explain how to create, delete, and customize fields, page layouts, and then given a scenario, determine how to create and assign page layouts record types. This is very important. They're really heavy on Lightning App Builder. So make sure that you know how to use the app builder. You know when to use custom profiles. You know when to create a custom object. What are the limitations of the standard objects? Can you even delete a standard object? You need to know the answer to those questions. Now look in sales and marketing application, 12%. Given a scenario, identify the capabilities and implication of the sales process. And as you can see that theme. Given a scenario, I'm telling you, you need to know the concepts well enough to find answers to these scenarios. It's not going to be as clear cut. Describe the capabilities of lead automation and campaign management. So leads, lead conversion. So when you convert a lead, what does it do? Can you create a contact from a lead? Stuff like that. The service and support applications. So describe the capabilities of case management, and given a scenario, identify how to automate case management. So my thoughts on this, where the company I work for, we don't use cases in Salesforce. We actually use a third-party application. So I kind of understood how case management works just from that system. But Salesforce, to be honest with you, I wish we used it. It has a lot more capabilities than our current system we use. So that section that's 11% was kind of hard for me. I don't use cases in my day-to-day. So what I did is I created a sandbox org, and you just go in and you play with it. You learn how all this works. I would highly suggest playing with it in your sandbox, especially if you've never used cases or the company you work for does not use case management from Salesforce. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. But yeah, definitely important about queues within cases and case assignment rules. They're really big on that. Productivity and collaboration at 7%. So this is the smallest percentage here. So we don't use Chatter at where I work either. So that was kind of hard for me. We do have the mobile app. Identify use cases for App Exchange, and the capabilities of activity management. This section is relatively small, but if you are on the borderline of passing the exam and you know productivity and collaboration, that could be the points you need to pass this exam. So make sure you understand the mobile app. Understand how you set up the view of a mobile app. Understand, even if you don't go in the details, since this is the smallest section, make sure you understand the basics of Chatter. Can you do approvals through Chatter or not? That you need to know the answer to that question. And then also just understand when to use App Exchange. App Exchange is a great tool. So just really dig into that as well. And then data and analytics management. Describe the considerations when importing, updating, transferring, mass deleting, exporting, backing up data. This whole section is like data loader and data exporter, and import wizard and all that jazz. You need to know just how to extract data, how can you back up data daily, through the command line interface. A data loader, you may or may not know, that's important to know. Describe the capabilities and implications of data validation tools, the options when creating or customizing a report or report type. Yeah, make sure you understand reporting. But just really dig in on that. How to use a cross filter. What's the limitations of of certain report types. Also, know when dashboards, how many dashboards you can use, the reporting, things like that are very important, like dashboard components, data sources, chart types. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And lastly, but definitely not least, 16% workflow and process automation. Flow, workflow, process builder. Gonna want to know it. Now, I know they mentioned workflow on here. My suggestion, make sure you understand flows. That is Salesforce's new baby. They love them. I love flows. They're very capable. You can solve a lot of complex issues without custom code. Way more useful than workflows in my opinion. And you need to know the basics of workflows. You know what are the different types, ways that a workflow can run, and when does it run? Is it when a new record is created, or when a record is edited or subsequently edited to meet criteria, stuff like that. But really lean in on those flows for this section. They're really pushing it. Workflows kind of on the way out anyway. So just make sure you understand that. Understand your approval processes. Can more than one person approve something? Can a group of users approve a request? Stuff like that you're going to want to know. So that's the main sections here that add up to the total score. Of course, it talks about the code of conduct and some other things. So you can read through this, and then how to maintain your certification. I might create a short video on that because I'm going through that now, and it is not as clear cut as you might think it would be. But looking at the Trailmix over here, so prepare for your Salesforce admin certification, and it has a bunch of different Trailmix here. So I like this one personally, and it's the one suggested by Salesforce, so I would highly recommend it. Prepare for your Salesforce administrator credential. As you can see, I completed 52% of these. I really use this as a way to not only learn some of the basic skills, but chatter. That's what I use this for, looking at different things. You can see they got it by tasks, weight. You can see which ones I've done and completed. Object Manager and Lightning App Builder. Customize a Salesforce object. Lightning App Builder, formulas and validation. Then you can go into the sales and marketing, learn about leads. This is a great tool that I would highly suggest using. Now, something else they don't recommend on the Salesforce, like the Trailhead website that I utilized. I heard about this from an employee I work with. It's called Focus on Force. You probably have heard of it, but if not, it is super useful. This is the site here. Focus on Force. The link is in the description. I would highly suggest it. They have great practice exams. They actually break it out by section, and you can take a practice exam on each section. So if it's about the configuration, it's going to be 50, 60 questions just on configuration. And at the very end, there's I believe there's 6 exams that are all inclusive, and they score them up. You can take the exam, have it show you the correct answer after you answer that question, wait to the end, check your score. And then they also have, I love this feature and I would highly recommend it on here too, is at the end of the little sections, they have little note cards, and they'll ask a question, you hover over, it'll flip over. Love them. It's kind of like the flashcards back in the day before technology. You would make a flashcard. It's exactly what that is. Use those. Very important. So I'm logged in here. I'm actually studying for my platform app builder certification right now. Plans to take that exam at the end of this year in 2022. But this is the administrator, and they actually have a lot of other awesome advanced admin platform. These are all the ones they have to offer. But just kind of looking at the study guide, I'm not going to show you any questions or anything like that, but you can see how they have it broke out, configuration and setup, and this is awesome. So this is a great tool, and I would highly suggest utilizing it. Well, if you've made it to this point in the video, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today. If you haven't, please leave a comment. Let me know if there's any other certifications you want me to cover. I can create a video on any of these, and I probably will in the future. But just smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. And if you're studying for your Salesforce admin cert, I wish you nothing but the best. Please, ask me any questions. I'll be more than happy to reach out, communicate with you, give you some resources that I think would be helpful. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today, and be on the lookout for the next one.